Hi everyone, it's Car from Enchanted Vines, and today I wanted to show you how I attach either letters or signs to wreaths securely. So I know some people like to use pipe cleaners. I am 100% on team zip tie. So the thing about zip ties is they hold, at least these hold about 50 pounds. I'm going to double staple them and use two. So like we have so many things in place, and this is what I'm talking about when I talk about how important the mechanics are, is if I'm shipping something out, I want to make sure I feel very confident that they're not going to have a letter that's just going to fall off. Okay, so cue my high-tech camera skills, and we're going to zoom in. All right, so because this is a letter that it's approximately 9 inches high and it's a 1/4 inch thick, what I like to do is when I'm going to staple it, I always like something soft underneath because I mean, it seems like I'm paranoid about a lot of things, but I am worried about or paranoid about breaking a letter, having it snap. So what I do is I put it on something soft. So we're going to use this moss. And I mark where I'm going to be putting the zip ties. And then I'm going to take my staple gun and I am going to use one zip tie up towards the top. And then the other zip tie towards the bottom, okay? So this wreath is really special. This is one of my signature wreaths. And what I like is it's a classic look. You kind of can't go wrong with it. It's not going to clash with anything. But it also takes a lot of, I think, thought and consideration when somebody orders these as a gift. So this specific wreath, I love the story of it. Somebody's grandmother is going to like an assisted living home, and it's for people, I think, that struggle with memory loss. So this amazing woman is having this made for her loved one so that when she sees her door, she sees that the letter K is there because her name starts with K. So I heard that story and it just touched me because she's going through so many steps just to make sure that her loved one has a smooth transition, and that even though she's not in her home, that she still has something that feels like home. So, okay, so right now I've woven the first zip tie into place. I go in between the branches because I want to hide the mechanics. That's also why I use brown zip ties, is because I want them to blend in. Put the top one in, and I don't zip it all the way yet, just in case the placement's not perfect, okay? Then I'm going to go in with my second zip tie. Again, I'm going to feed it through top and bottom so that people can't see it. And now this one I'm going to tie tight, or I'm going to zip tight. So you hear that zip, you know your zip tie's in place. Then you go back to your top one and tighten it all the way. Now, whenever we're talking about the back of a wreath, I always like to mention how we want to hide mechanics. So we're going to snip these off. All right, so I'm going to snip these zip ties off. And then just like everything else on this wreath, we're going to go through and we're going to clean up the back. So like you can see, obviously there's a huge stem sticking out here. So I'm going to trim that. We have wire for where I used a ribbon. So I'm going to try and nestle that in a little bit. Trim this other stem. And then, of course, we're going to go in with our moss and our glue gun. And we're going to cover up those pieces so that we don't damage anyone's door. And I was thinking about this project. And, you know, sometimes you get asked about what your why is. Like, why do you do what you do? Like, why did I leave a job of 20 years in HR and with working with kids to make wreaths? And then I hear a story about this and I'm like, this is how I can be of service to people. I can provide something that's meaningful. Yes, it could just be a wreath to someone else, but for this woman who's moving to an assisted living home, like this might be a little bit of peace of mind that makes her feel safe and makes her feel comfortable. So like, it's so good when we think about our whys. So I know a lot of you are making, you know, wreaths and arrangements as gifts. And like your why is like you want to make people happy. You want to do something memorable. You want them to know that they're loved. And for me, this was just like a reinforcement today of like what my why is. And I felt really honored to be chosen for this task or this project. And so because of that, I take it really seriously that I do it right and that I do a good job and that it's something that serves its purpose. So I know it's a bit of a TED talk, but again, sometimes you really just have to reflect on how fortunate you are to be able to do stuff that you love. So even though I love making wreaths, I really love to make people happy and to serve. So with that being said, I'm going to use my glue gun and my moss, and I'm going to cover up all the things that could potentially scratch this door. I'm being really cautious that I'm not gluing and then sticking my finger right in the glue. And I'm going to go and just lightly, I'm not going to put a lot of glue on the zip ties just because they're plastic and this is high temp glue, but I am going to put a little bit on just so it kind of adheres to that area and prevents scratching. All right. So again, this is my signature. I'll get better with the camera, I promise. This is my signature wreath. It's great for housewarming gifts. It's great for newlyweds. It's great for, a lot of different purposes. This is definitely my most commonly purchased item. And so I just wanted to share with you again how to put your letter on safely so that it stays, and just show you about how to clean up the back of a wreath again. So I hope you found this helpful. I really appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'm so happy for the feedback I'm getting. If there's anything you'd like to see, as always, I do want to be of service, so let me know. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.